mix them together, Chef Simon, if you could zest and...
This is an olive oil and orange cake. He's starting with a cup of sugar and 4 large eggs.
Zest and squeeze that one orange in front of you. I have the zest of those other 4 oranges right here.
So there's 6 medium oranges.
Oranges right here. It's more about the zest than it is about the juice. The zest has all of those natural oils in it, which makes something a lot more intensely flavored than the actual juice, which has so much liquid in it that it's really only good mixed with vodka as far as...
You want the juice in with the zest, Emby?
No. Sure, I do. I do want that. So I'm going to mix the eggs and the sugar and a good pinch of salt. And then I'm going to take, instead of butter, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
That's a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil.
It is remarkable. It's a half cup. So now the whole thing is already set. You ready there? Can I go?
Sure.
I'm going. Now, at this point, you've already got something that could become a souffle and be something very delicious. But no, we're going to make a cake. And because we're listening to the sun-dappled accordion on the orange grove.
I hear it.
All right, the accordion isn't sun-dappled.
Preheat your oven 350.
Isn't sun-dappled, but the
9-inch round cake pan.
Dappled, but the terrace is. All right. So that's simple as that. Already flavored good. Then you could use regular flour. You could use any flour you want. I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of regular flour and 1/2 a cup of semolina flour, which has got a little bit more of a granular texture to it something I'm really happy about. And we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of baking powder. We're going to mix that all together. Now, as with all great cakes, if you want them to have a firm or chewy texture, you would mix
2 tablespoons of baking powder, but the recipe says 1 tablespoon.
Texture, you would mix the heck out of it right now.
So let's go back and see how big that...
Regular flour and 1/2 a cup of semolina flour, which has got a little bit more of a granular texture to it something I'm really happy about. And we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of baking.
I think that was 1 tablespoon.
Of baking powder. We're going to mix that all together. Now, as with all great cakes, if you want them to have a firm or chewy texture, you would mix the heck out of it right now. If you want them to be more just like barely holding their texture together, then you would just stir it until the liquid overtakes the dry, just like here.
The gentle side.
The gentle side, exactly. Now, it's still going to look a little cakey, but it's going to look a little more bumpy, in my opinion. So now we go like that. And then, of course, when you get your cake pan, if you can get one of these, they're not really non-stick, but they're very easy to use. Make sure you coat that with extra virgin olive oil and nothing else, because that's going to create almost a fry to it. The temperature of the olive oil will go up more quickly than it would with butter, and it will create a very interesting crust. Not hard, but more firm and a little bit more crackly. So then what you do is you heat your oven to... God knows what. I'm going to guess 350, Clinton. Is that about right?
Sounds good to me.
I'm not really a baker, as you can tell, but I'm quite confident in my ability to baloney you guys. Make sure that you think that I'm going to be able to do it out of memory. As with all great baking recipes, make sure you look at them and read them before you go. Here it is.
350 for 50 minutes.
Thank you very much, Clinton. As I expected. So you cue the accordion. And then you saunter over toward the oven. Chef Simon, you saunter. We pop it in for
50 minutes.
At 350. We're going to take those oranges that we zested. We're going to create a little orange salad. When we come back, I'm going to show you.
Okay, it's going to... The icing.
It's Pam and Dan.
Welcome back to the Chew. My olive oil and orange cake is out of the oven, and if I close my eyes, I would swear it smelled like an orange grove on the Amalfi Coast. Now I'm going to make a simple icing. I'm going to take powdered sugar. I'm going to take
1.5 cups of powdered sugar and 3 tablespoons of lime juice plus the zest of 1 lime.
5-second rule, Simon. Come on, man. Make it happen. All right, thank you very much. We're going to take the zest of limes because I like the almost bitter and very tangy taste of a lime matched up with my sweet and magnificent orange. I'm going to take 2 limes because I want it a little bit more limey. And then I'm just going to make it into a quick little icing that goes over the top. Now that we've saved you all this money on Extra Value Friday, I think you can spend it by buying a little dessert wine. And in all honesty, one of my favorite desserts wine is something called Moscato d'Asti, which is made from the muscat grape in Asti, up in Piemonte, in the shadow of where they make Barolo. Simon, could you pour a little bit of that?
I can.
Now, it has a remarkable, almost floral flavor to it. It's delicious. It's simple. And in all honesty, at 6.5% alcohol, this qualifies as a breakfast wine. Now, the trick with making this kind of a frosting is make sure you don't put more liquid in. You want to make sure that you allow the liquid to overtake the powdered sugar, because what's too often easy to happen is that it becomes much too wet and it will never set. You want to make sure that it's a little firmer than a little bit too dry. And you take it like so. Pop it on like that.
Oh, Battali, this is one of my favorite.
And you